You do love a click. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my Solterra, and one of the common things that I've seen on the Subaru Solterra forum is the frustration with the window and the door locking switches on the driver's side. They're not illuminated, and people are finding that a frustration. So what we're actually going to do today is we're going to swap those out for illuminated switches. So this is what I'm talking about. These are the switches that I'm talking about here. So they're not illuminated. For what you do have is actually some buttons that little tiny dots on there. So you can actually find it just by feeling your way. So you know which one is the locking, which one is unlocking. I mean, it's quite easy to find actually with your finger, but it's a lot easier if it's illuminated and you just press it. So on eBay, there is a kit that's available. And what's the first thing that you notice? We're in a right-hand drive vehicle, and these are obviously for a left-hand drive market. So no good for us. So with the switches, the driver's side with the left-hand, right-hand side is no good for us. But these should be okay. But what we actually found was that the connections in here, they just drop out. So whilst it might have been easy to obtain, cheap, it really is no good at all. So do watch what you're buying. What we've gone for is the Toyota parts, and actually got them from a Toyota Corolla. So I'll show you those now. So this is from a 2021 Toyota Corolla. We did get this one from eBay, and it is secondhand. But what you can see is everything's in the right place. And I'm going to fit it, and we're actually going to show you just how good this is. So here you can see that it's exactly the same part, but what you can see here is you can see the lines for the illumination, which is missing on the bits on my buttons. So all we're going to do, we're going to lift this and swap them out. Okay, so before we start, we'll get the equipment that we need. 3 pieces of equipment, a pry tool to lift the trim. There'll be screws inside when we're looking at the switches. That we'll need the Phillips screwdriver, so we already know that. And then later on when we're doing the passengers, we want to be able to pry out the switch mechanism, and so we've just got to use this to pry that out. So let's get going. So this, I've just got a tiny little bit of a nail in there, and I'll start at this end, and it will become obvious why. So you don't want to lift too much. If you try and lift too much too quickly, you're going to snap your trim, and obviously you don't want that. So all it is, a little bit of leverage on there. You can see how tiny that movement is, and I'm going in again to lift it. You have to be a little bit brave, not too brave. And that's all we're doing, a little bit at a time. And all I'm doing there is I'm actually just pressing through just to see that I've got that released, and I'm only doing tiny bits. Oh, that's it. It's rather convenient. I made a bit of a meal of that. It really isn't that difficult. Just push the tabs down and slide it out. So there you have it. Okay, so I talked about earlier, we'll need the screws, so we're just going to undo these screws and swap the mechanism out. And that's it. You can see our spare parts. Actually, I will show you this because here you can see the parts that we've used here. I've put this back on my seats. Great for sitting on, but also for making sure you don't lose the screws if you drop them. So if you've watched my other videos, you'll know I won't put them in completely. What I'll do is make sure they're all in, take them down to a low level, and then tighten once they're all in place. Now, because this is Toyota OEM original equipment, these will just slot into place. It's Toyota, so it's just going to snap into place, and we know it's not going to fall out. Nice and simple. And now I reverse it. So when putting this back in, I'm actually going to reverse the way I went. So rather than start at the end here and snapping it in, I'm actually going to start where I finished last time. Do press it until you hear that nice click, and you need to make sure both sides. Got my finger. And there you have it. Little blue line. Of course it's blue. It's Subaru. Nice. That's it. It's that simple. Okay, so these are the parts that we have, genuine Toyota Corolla parts. But as you can see, the trim's not fitting, but that's not important, because the important bit is this bit. And what we're going to do is take this out, and that's why we needed that smaller screwdriver to prise this out. Okay, so it's a similar process. You prise this off carefully, starting at this end, finishing at this end, and just lift it once we're off, and you'll see it's quite different when we get here. This is the bit I don't like, because I'm scared of that. So again, just simple, no faff, and this is what we're going to replace. Okay, so this is the Solterra trim. This is the Corolla trim. So you can see it's not what we want. So what we've already done is we've already harvested the switches out of here, and they're just down here, you can see them there. And what we're going to do now is, you can see these two little things here, two little indentations here. We're going to use a screwdriver and prise out the switch and swap them out. Oh, trim. You trim. You do love a click. very happy with that. And there you have it. It's that simple to change your switches out. So what I need now to do now is get that all nice and shiny again. So off I go. It's beautiful. Thanks for watching. The passenger switches didn't seem to illuminate, but we're going to check that out because everything seems to indicate that they would illuminate. But thanks for watching. Please click to subscribe. See you again next time.